from her work so she could like work from home.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad is up north and out of town for like the next couple weeks. So I had to the other day, I had to help unload the desk because it weighs like fucking 200 pounds out of the truck to bring into the house. And then yesterday, I went over there to help assemble the desk. And I thought, all right, probably a couple hours. Like, I mean, that's how long it like took to build the desk in our office. But failed to realize that this thing wasn't just a desk. It's like one of those fucking Ottoman hutch things where it's like the desk and then there's a whole top part with like I opened the box and there's 6 fucking layers of like pieces for the desk. And we were working on that shit from like 4:30 to like 11 at night.
Oof.
And my hands are like beat from doing all that.
Yeah. Many moons ago, I was getting a whole desk set up from IKEA and picked up, and it was one of those, kind of like 3/4 desks, like corner desk type units, So
Yeah.
big box, lots of pieces of wood. I pick up the side of it, and it's like 100 pounds or something. So I go pick it up the side to slide it onto the cart. My girlfriend goes to get the other side to help me, and the my end was like not taped right. So it pops open, and like 5 of those boards go crashing like right into my ankle. It hurt a lot. And then like I had to file a whole report with IKEA because I seriously thought my ankle was broken the way it slammed into it. And I had to file a whole report and everything. And ended up, after all of it, they gave me $20 off the desk.
Wow.
Yeah.
At least you got something out of it.
Besides the sore
ankle.
Yeah. I got doctor bills is what I got out of it. Oh, man. Just had a fucking pork chop for dinner, so like I'm fighting the food coma off as we speak.
Dude, yeah, I was gonna say you got to be hyped for this one, dude. I mean, like this is probably like the most newsworthy episode we're gonna have.
I know. So yeah, that's what I figured we were gonna do was just start the show and then jump right into the PS5 deal and just kind of go line by line. React or don't react, and if we don't react, I think that says just as much as if we do, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Just waiting for Robby. Have you heard from him yet?
I have not.
Oh, hey, I think he's getting on.
Roberto!
Oh, is he there?
Hey guys.
Hey!
How are y'all?
There's that sexy voice. It's been a while.
I know. I haven't heard from this dude in a long time. It's like, do my ears deceive me? Is this really him?
Oh, no, it is me. Unfortunately, though, I do not have a camera. I don't have my laptop tonight.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. You still got those dulcet tones right into our eardrums. That's the important thing.
You're welcome.
It's gonna be like his new preaching style, ASMR.
Hey guys, how are you?
Turn to page 247.
Get your mic ready and your heart filled with Robby. All up in you.
I feel so dirty.
All up in your ear holes.
This is not the class I signed up for. Yeah, like I was saying, I figure since it's a pretty full deal, Robby, we're just gonna go down the list, like in the order they tried it out, and kind of just react as we go, and then that's gonna be probably the show because that's a lot of stuff. So
yeah, the only really, if y'all, I mean, we say this every time, but I really need it if it can just kind of be short. But also if Elijah wakes up, I'll have to cut out. But
for sure, yeah.
But the positive is he's for the last 2 weeks he has gone to bed easily and slept through the night for 2 straight weeks. So we are. Now that I've said something out loud, it's
totally.
It's gonna happen.
Well, let's try to keep the streak alive.
Yeah, but yeah, let's do this thing.
All right, everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode 96, recording on June 14th, 2020. And hey, guys, it's happened. It's actually happened. We have actual news. Sony had a full PS non-E3 conference to show and reveal PlayStation 5 goods and wares. And hey, we know what it looks like now, and we have games to talk about. So we're going to do that and talk about some other things along the way as well. So let's jump right into it. With me, as always, Shannon Moore.
Hello, sir. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you have problems with my video game choices on our Facebook group or my inability to finish a game that I buy, you're going to be really disappointed with my opinions this episode.
Gotcha. Well, Heavenly Sword was boring as hell. Anyway, also on the show, Mr. Justin Tom Carter. Justin.
What's up, dude? I'm back in the closet.
He's back in the closet.
I know. I was like, my audio is great, my closet is warm, and my cat is lazy. That's the way I like it. It's the trifecta for podcasting.
And the claws are white, so
yeah,
we're moving.
Claws, yeah, I got my carbonated water. I got my fart-stained pillows. I'm ready to go.
Life is good. Also, guys, hey. The prodigal son, he hath returned. I feel like I had to do a Bible reference every time Robby shows up. But Mr. Robert Stonebull is back on the show. Robby.
Hello, everyone.
He's here.
It's so good to be here again with you. And yes, you, the one that's listening. And only you. But no, it's good to be here, guys.
Yes, just so the listeners know, we were making fun of Robby before because he was being very quiet and very up on the mic because one little Stelton Pool was sleeping or trying to go to sleep, so he had to be hushed. And he sounded very ASMR-ish, so he was just keeping that train rolling.
That's right.
But yeah, so I guess let's just jump right into it, huh? Shall we?
Holy freaking crap. Is there a lot?
There is a lot. Now, when we...
So much... Oh, I'm sorry, Zach. I was just going to say so much so that we have to basically ignore the PC conference that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much that was announced for the PS5.
And we are going to roll, just so everyone's aware, we're going to roll the PC into next week's show. Because there's supposed to be another conference tomorrow, I believe, with more announcements coming. In our delayed virtual E3 world that we live in now. So we're going to roll those two into next week's show so we can kind of give the spotlight for the PS5 this week. And when they made this announcement that they were doing this, everyone got really excited that we're finally going to see some games and, possibly, potentially the system and price and all this stuff. I did not see a show of this size coming. Did anyone else? Was anyone else shocked by how just it kept going?
Very much so. Like, Zach, you and I did a live stream, or tried to do a live stream while we were watching it, and
it went past my lunch hour. That's how big it was.
It was absurd. Just out the gate, I think I agree with you. I was not expecting that. What about you guys?
I would say that I was pleasantly surprised. I came in, I totally forgot about it, and I started watching the live stream about a half hour in, and I still saw about 45 minutes worth of trailers, and I was like, oh, wow. They weren't lying when they said they had a robust lineup to show us. I just wish that they had gone the full, had completed the full gamut and just given us the price so people could start saving up.
Yep. Well, we will cover that. But Justin, what were your thoughts as well?
I mean, I watched it from the beginning, and I mean, they brought it. They were like, "You want games? You want to see gameplay? This is what gameplay looks like, guys. Look at this."
Yeah. And they were right up front about it too. Like everything showing is being recorded off of being played off of PS5. Like everything. And it was just like, okay, throwing that gauntlet down right from the start. I see you working, Sony. But yeah, let's get into the show. So it opens up with Grand Theft Auto 5, of all things. Now I understand. I have not been a Grand Theft Auto person. I'm one of those people that buys the games, plays for 8 hours, and quits pretty much every single time. But GTA Online has been the biggest thing going, and guys, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on the 360.
Like holy freaking crap!
And they led off the PS5 conference with Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's that big of a freaking deal. Like, let me put it this way. After the show, Capcom released that Resident Evil as a franchise, all of them combined have sold over 100 million copies, and it was a very big deal. They were tooting their own horn. Rockstar has sold over 100 million copies of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Like Zach, do you remember it was like 2 or 3 years ago, in whether it was an episode of this or whether it's the podcast we did before, I laid out how many games and series had come and gone since the last Kingdom Hearts had come out. Do you remember that? Do you remember that conversation?
Totally.
You just did that to me what I did to you that day.
Yeah.
The fact that Grand Theft Auto came out on the Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on the 360, and we're still getting a remaster of it. It's the new Skyrim. I guess that's probably what we can say. It's the new Skyrim.
Yeah, but at the same time, like when I went back and watched the beginning of this press conference, I was not. It was not something that made me excited for the rest of the presentation to come. Like, I kind of felt like it could have started off on a better foot. Like, I mean, there wasn't a lot to show there as far as improving on the graphics. It still looked like a last gen game. It didn't really have the appeal to me, and maybe it's because I'm not a fan of Grand Theft Auto. I'm more in your camp. Like, I'll play it for like maybe a handful of hours, and then I'm pretty much done with it. But it just, nothing about it screamed next gen. So to me, it was kind of a lackluster beginning to their conference. I think that should have been something that was kind of smattered through somewhere in the middle. But I mean, if you're going to build hype, that wasn't the way to get it for me.
Well, what about the second announcement, Shannon?
The second announcement did get me hyped and was amazing.
And the second announcement is Spider-Man Miles Morales. So it was shown during the event, and obviously Miles Morales is the Spider-Man in this game. It's supposed to release this year, which is nice. It's going to release basically right alongside the PS5, and it was a little confusing. I think it's safe to say that Miles Morales Spider-Man was a little confusing because right after they were like, "Oh, it's an expansion for the remaster of Spider-Man that's coming out," and then immediately, like, all the was it Insomniac that makes it, and people that were working on it are like, no, it's a standalone thing. And then, so I think the truth is it's in that infamous First Light, Uncharted, Lost Legacy. It's in that realm where it's like, hey, we have all these assets. Why don't we just make another game real quick with all of these assets? And I think that's what they did. That being said, it looks freaking rad. I really want to play it. It kind of bums me out that it's not probably going to be a game the scope of the original Spider-Man, because it feels like they're just kind of smashing together a smaller game, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just means they're not stretching it out to a full feature length, and I kind of don't care though. I kind of want it.
Yeah,
no,
I don't care either, because like it's like Lost Legacy for Uncharted 4. It's like the Last Light for infamous Second Son. What's the example I said on the stream? Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, Primal.
I could honestly see this thing being as open world as the original Spider-Man was, but there's just new missions and a new story. And that, to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's still exciting to me, especially with the fact that it gives me something to look forward to this year that I can only play on a PlayStation console.
Sure.
Just go ahead, Shannon. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. I think we both had valid points because I think, to your credit, I think what it's going to be is it's just going to be one of those games that's going to give you enough story and enough of a character arc to allow him to be in Spider-Man 2. So you'll have Peter Parker and you'll have Miles Morales that you could choose from in that kind of universe. And I think it'll give it a little bit more. I think it's going to give the next Spider-Man game a lot more depth of character and more play styles, because it looks to me like Miles Morales is probably going to have like a different move set as opposed to Peter Parker's. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of hoping that's what their long game is. But yeah, dude, like, who doesn't want more Spider-Man? I mean, like, it's all in the same engine, right? So I'm already expecting that same game is just going to be more of the comfort food that you want.
And I can already see, to your point, Shannon, I can already see the Spider-Man 2 poster where Peter Parker's like against a skyscraper and the reflection is Miles Morales. Like, yeah, or and the reflection in the windows, like a totally different background with Miles Morales, or so. Like, I can totally see it. I've already got it.
I mean, Justin, were you hyped for it, or?
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. Like, when the trailer started, because I knew it was something superhero themed when the trailer like began playing, and I thought it was like Avengers.
Yeah,
and I was immediately like, oh, dude, I was like, fucking Avengers. and then I saw Miles, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, they did it.
Well, if y'all remember the post credit scene in the first game, we get the reveal that Miles has powers.
Yeah,
and we're not told how. We're not told, or anything like that. And like. So just really quickly, just to comic nerd for just one quick second, please. Like
on this podcast, sir?
Yeah, on this podcast. Because I don't think they're going to do it in the movie, mm-hmm. but I would love for them to do it in this game. In the comic, the original Spider-Verse comic, there is this group of like celestial vampires that are going throughout all reality and time and killing and sucking the life out of Spider-Man because they have a certain life force that feeds them. And that is why that's why the Spider-Verse occurs. Like, all these different Spider-Men come together to fight these beings. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think they'll ever do that in a movie, but I would freaking love it as a game. Like,
remember what was that? Web of Shadows? Was
Web
that
of Shadows?
One?
Yes, yeah.
That kind of did that, where it was going from different Spider-Verse to Spider-Verse type things.
I love the Spider-Man noir missions in that game.
Yeah,
those are cool. Good. That suit is iconic to me now. Yeah. Like, it's so good.
Well, we can keep going forward. Yeah. Keep it moving. We got, guys, there's a lot. And I'm going to be real short with this one. Gran Turismo 7. Hey, it's new Gran Turismo. Guys, cars look real pretty next gen. Do it every single console launch. There's a car game. The cars look amazing. Boy, those roads sure look wet. Like, I don't know what else to say. It'll be 3 years before it ever comes out. It's Gran Turismo. This is how they do it.
If they can get car damage into one of their games finally, mm-hmm. like, I would be impressed, because that's been something that they have not been able to do in any Gran Turismo game. I did like the way that they changed the dashboard, though, so it was a little bit more. It seemed like it was going to be quicker to get to the races that you wanted to get to, sure. As opposed to before. So I'm glad that they kind of streamlined that process a little bit more. Other than that, yeah, it's a game.
There were few quick flashes that looked like there were community aspects involved in it and things like that. But I'll care in 3 years when the game actually comes out. It's Gran Turismo. But let's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yay, cars! I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah. Well, you don't play Forza, which is one of the best games, but so
I paid my debt. I played that Forza game.
Yeah, because you lost a bet.
I played that last night, like out of nowhere. I just saw it in the queue and just started playing it. God damn, Forza Horizon 4 is still really good.
So really quick, I promise it'll be quick. I'm buying a new gaming monitor. It'll be here this week. It's a curved 165 frames per second monitor. I am going to play Forza. Like,
yeah, you are.
I'm going to turn that shiz up all the way. And it's a 27-inch curved LED FreeSync monitor. I will be.
You're gonna sit with it like 6 inches away from your face, just like wrapped in it. Like
I've downloaded 3 games: Forza, Doom, and Arkham Knight.
All right, let's go. I like it.
You're playing Forza with the wheel, and you got your kid in the car seat, and you're like,
that'd be so great. Oh my god! If I had a way to like, put a board down or something with the car seat on it that I could like pitch from side to side as I was driving. My son would be all about it. Okay, so next is I might go out on a limb. I mean, we'll call it at the end of this, but probably my favorite game of this whole thing, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And the trailer seemed to be a lot like a tech demo. You know how they were saying before in the Mark Cerny Snooze Fest that, the hard drive that they have in this thing is capable of just like streaming in content anywhere off the hard drive at any time. And it's all magic and wizardry and sorcery and all these things that you'll never understand, but it works. And that trailer seemed to take that into hold as they're just going through riffs of different dimension, like 3 seconds of this one, 3 seconds of that one, 3 seconds. And it's just moving. And it's all in that amazing style that Ratchet and Clank has. It ends looking at a brand new character, which seemed to be a female Ratchet or Lombax or whatever they call them. And in a whole new setting. So I'm so down. Like, I loved this first game so much. The PS4 remake of Ratchet and Clank, it was one of my favorites of the generation. So I cannot wait to play this. And it's a game that I can play with my kid sitting right next to me, which is super rad. What are your guys' thoughts? Because I'm just all in. Like, this sold me a system.
Dope.
Justin, what do you think?
like, it looked really pretty. So I've never played Ratchet and Clank.
What?
So I don't have the level of.
I'm gonna mail you my disc. You need to play it. It's great.
It's because I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have a PlayStation 2 like growing up. So it's like a lot of the hype games like Jak and Daxter and whatever, like certain like Sony like only sale. I didn't play those like when those were coming out. And by the time I did have one, it's like those were like ancient like games by that point. So
No,
Jak and Daxter's overrated.
Yeah,
Ratchet and Clank is the real deal.
Mm-hmm. And Sly Cooper was this.
Well, see, I did place. That's one of the few. So out of that trilogy, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper is the one where it's like I actually do own those 3 games on PS2, and I played them, and I love Sly Cooper.
I will 100% send you my disc of the remake for PS4, Justin, if you want it. Like, it's rad. Like, it is.
Justin just made a point that I was going to make that was kind of negative, but Justin, maybe you can help. When we were watching the stream, I didn't see really much that looked gorgeous because maybe the stream was just rough or maybe something like that. But like, I didn't really see PS5, what I was expecting, PS5 level graphics with a lot of the gameplay and games they showed. Did it look really good to you? Because they just didn't. Maybe it was just our stream that it didn't look great on.
See, I thought Ratchet and Clank looked really pretty and stuff. I didn't have any issues. The only one that I saw issues with, and I wasn't sure if it was the stream or if it was, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but it was for Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
But like it was lagging like ass, and I was like, at first I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm like, why is this like? This looks really rough. Like in the beginning when they were showing the first person.
You're like, is this a choice? Because this is a weird choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do right now since we're talking? I'm gonna bring up the YouTube cut of it and see if it looks better. Because
I was gonna say, so after this, when I got home that night from work, I went. They had started posting a lot of the 4K trailers of these on different media outlets and their own websites, and there's like things like Ratchet and Clank, it's noticeable from what we saw versus the 4K trailer that they put up. It's like, oh, okay. Like, obviously they were constrained by a stream, but I mean, not all of them, I'll be honest, not all of them, but there were certain games that it was obvious where it was like,
holy
oh, that's
shnikes. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm watching now. Wow.
It's like eyeball melting.
Yeah, like when he like goes through the rift, dude, it was like beautiful. It was like, and then
Did
like, pops out like.
Did y'all see some of the developers from other companies' reaction on Twitter of this trailer?
Yeah,
like they were saying, how are they doing this? Like, how is this possible? Because like to me, it just looks like something I would expect, but apparently to developers, like how are they able to transition from one plane of a game to another so quickly and so brisk? Like, I was blown away by some of their reactions.
And on the Facebook group, Jordan Derringer High, his thing for the best game of the show was Ratchet and Clank, and he was like, I don't care what else they announce, take my damn money. And that was pretty much my reaction too. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're going to cover some games down the road here that I absolutely am going to buy and play. This was the game in the show where I was like, I'm getting a PS5. Like, I need to play this. So it's crazy when those games happen where it's like, if you would have asked me before this, hey, is Ratchet and Clank going to be the game that makes you buy a PS5? That would not have been a yes from me. It just wouldn't have. But after seeing it, I'm like, hell yes. God damn it.
This thing looks so good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say I was watching the stream with my girlfriend, and this was the first game that she was just like, I not only want you to get a PlayStation 5, but I want to play this game with you. So if there is like couch co-op, like this is the one that's going to seal the deal for me as well. And just the whole layout and jumping from like dimension to dimension, like that looks bananas. Like, you know, I mean,
BANANES.
Yeah, like I was in awe of this game and like what they have done with it. So yeah, I think it's a resounding all around positive review for this game.
And then the next thing they had was something Robby was super excited about, and I am highly skeptical will ever turn into anything ever. Project Athea from
Give
Square.
Me that game. Give me that freaking game.
What game? There's no game there. Like,
dude, I apologize, but I have read articles since this that have said this is a game.
Okay, when you have project in the name, there's no.
What
game.
if it's called Project? What if it's called Project Athea, Lithia, or whatever?
Then I apologize. You named your product horribly. Like that's
well, you and I talked about this already on the stream. There were a couple of games that were just absolutely horribly named. It's like a toddler wrote down some scribble words, and you're all like, "Oh, let's sound this out." Returnal. Yeah, that's
yeah. That's my 6-year-old trying to spell for the first time a big word, and it's like, I think that says returnal. I don't know. I guess. But anyway, I mean, it's Project Athea's got, you know, dragons and werewolf things and flying creatures and pretty textures and flowing capes.
And her flying and running in like.
It gave me kind of Prince of Persia 2008 vibes a little bit. You know, when you like run on the walls, and transition back and forth.
The 51-second quote unquote tech demo that we saw like a month ago got more out of me as far as excitement than this trailer did. This trailer actually just told me what the game's about, which I thought was really cool. But like, if you go back and watch that, 50-second video, like it looks dope. Like with what she can do. Go ahead.
Like I said, I want it to be something. I just want it to be something. I'm guessing this isn't a final name. If it is, it's a bad one. But I will agree with you. It looked rad. I'm just very skeptical. That's all. Just highly skeptical. Anyone else have thoughts before I push on?
I'm sure it will be out by the time the PS6 is coming out. So.
Right. Yeah. You'll be ready for the next bump up in graphics.
Well, my fear is that this game is going to be like, oh my gosh, what's it called?
Skyrim.
No,
Last,
no, no,
Last
no,
Guardian.
no. The game that okay. So you guys may not remember this at all, but 2013 when they were in the Tokyo game show, they showed a game specifically for the PS4 at this event, and it was I can't remember the freaking name of it, but it showed these guys in armor and looking like knights fighting with spears, fighting these giant dragons, and it says coming to PS4, exclusively PS4, and the game never came out.
Deep down.
Yeah. Look
love
at Justin.
Because I was looking forward to it Robbie, yes. I was right there with you. I wanted that game so bad, and every once in a while I'd look up and I'm like, what's going on with this game? It didn't, because it was by Capcom.
Yeah,
right.
And it was like,
Capcom. Okay.
And it was Capcom's version of Assassin's Creed because you were gonna touch relics and then be sent back in time and fight in these different eras.
Yeah. It was Assassin's Creed meets like Dark Souls.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I remember they trotted it out like a year and a half later, and it totally was like Dark Souls-ish. Now, like the first time they showed it, it wasn't like that, and then they're like, oh, we're making it like a Dark Souls type thing.
And there was like multiple players with the spear, and they were all fighting the dragon like together.
Yes. So that's what I don't want this game to be. Like I don't want it to be a forgotten or lost cause. And so hey, I got excited about it because it looked dope.
I got excited because it looks rad, but it's also square. You know what I mean? Like,
oh well, yeah, that's
all.
So it's going to be 10 years.
The game will come out, but my child will be going to college, and so by that time,
the good
it'll
thing
also
is,
be episodic.
Yeah, I was going to say the good thing is Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII should be out around the same time. So, I'm going to go on a limb here and say this next game might be in running for Justin's game of the show, which is Stray, which is Annapurna Interactive in a post-human robot-infested world where you play a cat that wears a backpack.
It's Wally Lost.
And I'll be honest, it looks super rad. I have no idea what the game is beyond you're a cat with a backpack and you're navigating your way around Robot City, but it looks amazing.
So it's Death Stranding, but with cats.
That'd be great.
Dude, what if Norman Reedus voices the cat?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Yes.
I mean, a
cat already drops pee bombs everywhere, so might as well.
Grenades. The game was very interesting. It looked very well polished. I would like to see more of like what the actual premise of the game is. But it was pretty. It got my girlfriend's attention again. Like it was another game that she was interested in and wanted to know more about. So I mean, it did its purpose, but I would like to see more about what the game is before I'm hyped for it.
I hate cats, so I don't care about this game. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, Robby said that on the live too, where he was just like, "Nope, I'm out. It's a cat. I'm done."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't freaking give a crap about cats. So we can move on.
Wait, Justin, real quick, was I right? Is this your game right here?
Well, I mean, it was one of the ones that I wasn't like. I think you and me both, and Robbie, probably all have a similar one that I think was the most exciting announcement.
Oh, sure.
That's gonna come later. But for like newer games, like I thought it did look very interesting. It's like I don't think I saw enough to I saw enough to pique my interest, but I didn't see enough to go, yeah, that's a purchase for me. So it's one of those where I do want to see more, but it does have me intrigued.
I will agree with you. There wasn't enough to be like, I'm in, but it's definitely on my radar now, just because it looks really weird, and something about those kind of games just work for me. You know, they're not weird in that Kojima way. They're weird in an actual fun way. So I'm kind of on board. I love you, Robbie. I missed you. Anyway, moving on. we've got Returnal, which is
worst game of show. Worst game name of show.
Game name, sure. Which is the new franchise from Sony, being developed by House Marquee, and essentially it looks like you crash on an alien planet and you have to live the same day and death over and over and over again. Planet seems to change every time you die, however, so it's kind of roguelike-ish, I guess, but that's all we really know about it. I'll be honest, this trailer did like nothing for me. I was just like about halfway through it. I'm like, okay, next.
The only interest I have is because of who made it, and Housemarque has made two of my favorite games on this current console. Well, I don't think Nex Machina. Nex Machina came to PS4. Nex Machina and Resogun are two of my favorite games of this generation, and so I will play this game just because they made it. But I agree with you. This reminds me of that Void Bastards kind of game, the way they described it. Is that the game? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. And you know what? If it winds up being something like Void Bastards, rad, because that's a great game. But this trailer just really didn't do anything for me. Like I'm hoping it's more than what the trailer is. Justin, you had thoughts on this one?
Well, it was funny. I was gonna say that when the trailer started, I actually got really excited because at first I thought it was gonna be like a follow-up to the last Prey game that came out. Like I got like very like kind of Prey like crashing on a foreign planet, like whatever. I was like, oh man, I was like, is this like a new Prey? And then I slowly started to realize that it wasn't Prey, and I was like, oh. So I wasn't as
Didn't you say that, Zach? Didn't you say
I did.
Didn't you say you thought it was Prey?
I was like, is this a Prey? This might be Prey, and it wasn't, and I kind of had the same reaction Justin did of like, oh, it's not. Yeah, never mind, I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, man, I thought this was gonna be Prey.
Hey, Shannon, do you want to take over point real quick? Because my daughter is losing her mind, and I will pick back up with you guys when she stops.
Sure. The next game that Sony debuted was the Sackboy: A Big Adventure. So it's developed by Sumo Digital. So this game is the latest game in the Little Big Planet franchise. It features action-oriented gameplay and 3D platforming rather than the 2D platforming from the first three games. I'll tell you right now, when I saw it, this is the what was it? Little Big Planet game that I wanted when the first ones came out. Like, I didn't really want a game that was so heavy into world creation, and then when it came to actually running through the worlds or having people do it, the controls were lacking for that type of setup, I felt, the last time. So for this to actually just be the game and have it more in a 3D world, especially having like the having it be 4-player co-op, kind of piqued my interest a lot more. So, where before I was out on like the Little Big Planet and Sackboy, now I'm kind of more interested in the gameplay itself. Robby, what did you think of it?
Little Big Planet kind of wasn't really my thing. I like some 3D platformers. I don't like all of them, so I can't say like this definitely got me jacked, for this game. This will kind of be a game, and this happened actually quite a bit with a few games that I could easily see myself getting in a couple of years to play with Elijah. So with that in mind, because I do have a son now, like that is kind of why I'm thinking I kind of not all games, but some games like this that I would just kind of pish posh away. I am now thinking like, hey, maybe I can play this game with my son one day.
Yeah, and I can tell you probably like a year or two after this game comes out, it's going to be like one of those PlayStation All-Star like games that you can get in a bundle for like super cheap. Justin, what did you think?
So this one to me was actually like one of the most surprising ones, like when it came up, because I thought it was kind of funny because they kind of had the reverse Super Mario Brother thing where it's like there was the Super Mario Brother games, and then they did Super Mario Maker where you make all your own shit, but that's always been Little Big Planet. So it's like you just made stuff. All those games are Super Mario Maker, and they're like, okay, now we're gonna reverse it, and now here's a pre-built game with a lot of these assets and stuff that you've seen and different items and stuff that you've seen in our previous 3 games. And I thought it was pretty cool. I'll be interested to see kind of more on it and like how, because it's definitely design wise, it's a lot different. Being like, here's the tools to make your own levels, and here's some pre-made levels to go do stuff, to a specifically designed experience. So I'll be interested to kind of see what they do with it. But it's like, I hope it does well. Like,
Yeah, and it's funny too because you saw. Like in the demo, you saw Sackboy, and then you saw Sackgirl, and then there was like 2 other people that came out, and they were like way more flamboyant than Sackboy. And I just don't understand how you can make a game where like your main character is so boring and plain, and like everybody else around him is so like bedazzled, for lack of a better word. So much more glitzy and glammy in the world. So it would just, I think there's some other characteristics I don't like about the game, but if I'm going to play it, I'm not going to play as Sackboy anyway. I'll play as some other character. Any other comments about the game before I move on? No? Okay. The next game that came out was probably my least one of my least favorites of the presentation. It was a game called Destruction All Stars. It was it's being produced by Lucid Games, and it's a destructible vehicle, action game. Looks like team based, where you can eject out of the cars when your car is damaged, or when it's destroyed. And then you can, run out and continue to help your teams by, laying traps. Or it seems like each character kind of has their own set. It kind of reminded me as like Overwatch with cars. So I mean, there were some impressive particle effects and physics in the game. What did you guys think, Justin? I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, well, I'm honestly a little surprised you're harping on it, since you were just giving, Gran Turismo a hard time for not having destructible vehicles. And here you go, they made a whole game catered to destructible vehicles, and yet it's not selling the console to you. So I'm not understanding here why you got beef with it.
Dude, it's like Gran Turismo is a driving simulator, right? Like you pay for the experience of that game. Like that's what you're getting into. You want the full racing thing. This is like a demolition slapstick. Like it doesn't it's not taking itself seriously. It's just a fun team-based game, I think, is what it's trying to get across. But I don't. It's not like the damage isn't like a bent fender well or like scratches. It's just an explosion and your car rockets into like 15 different pieces, and then you're running around like laying traps and not trying to get smushed by the other team.
Hey, if you don't want to play Fortnite with cars, Shannon, like, then I guess
I don't want to play Fortnite either.
You can spend that money on another RPG, I guess.
It reminded me of Rocket League meets Burnout.
Okay, that's a good comparison too.
Like, I will not play it because I just don't care about racing games or really any kind of car-focused games in any regard. So it's not for me. However, it's like, I think, and this is kind of the mantra or like the motto for me throughout, the theme of this presentation was, give me all the new IPs you can. Give me all the new different brands, different games, different game types you can, because that is what keeps a new generation going strong, is when new games are brought to the fold, not just the same sequels over and over again, i.e. Xbox, this current generation. Like, not everything needs to be Gears. Not everything needs to be Halo. So let's get new. And that's how we get to what I think is the game of show, which we'll talk about at the end. Like, everybody wants that game. And so when we get new games like Destruction All-Stars, like the next, there's going to be like 3 or 4 games that we're going to talk about here in a minute that I actually am super excited for, specifically the next one.
Mhm.
But this was one that I just didn't kind of care about.
The only thing, and not this won't be the first time I'm horribly hypocritical on this show, is I always talk like I want new things, quit remaking old things. Sony has Twisted Metal sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna make Twisted Metal Overwatch, just use Twisted Metal. Like we're just make that happen. But I get they're trying to do new things and branch out in new directions, so I'm not gonna fault them for it. But watching this just made me go like, why not just make Twisted Metal again? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, this is one of those ones where, I mean, I know there's a lot of games that came out in this presentation, but to me, I started to wonder if it was quantity over quality with some of these games. Like Destruction All Stars was one of those where I was just like, okay, is this just one of those, filler games that they're just kind of, it was cheaply made and they're just kind of throwing it out there to see if they kind of strike, if lightning strikes with this one, if it kind of becomes one of those like niche, like Rocket League sensations, or are they just producing it to put a game out so they say they have an X number of games for the launch of this console? I mean, I just wasn't impressed with it. It just kind of didn't seem like it was one of those games that you really want to put out there for as a flagship game for your next console.
Well, I would argue neither did Rocket League when it first came. Like if you just showed a trailer of it,
Mm-hmm.
no one would have cared about it. But then when people started playing it, it was the gameplay that made that game so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
who doesn't like soccer with cars?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, now we love it. I don't want it any other way. I just, Shannon, the reason why I'm completely 110% okay with them showing games like this and showing all the games all these games during this conference is because we wanted to see gameplay. Because we complained and we whined about Xbox's conference showing us concepts and not actual concrete things to look at. And that's all this thing was concrete things that we know, except for Project Alithia, we know are coming in some form or fashion. And so I give Sony credit for giving us a high quantity of games, because I do think there are some bangers here that make up for low quality. Speaking of incredible quality, can we go to the next game?
Oh, I would love to. You want me to keep going, Zach? I guess so. I think the next game was called was it Kenya? Bridge of Spirits. So this is an adventure game developed by Ember Labs. So this one kind of had, you were a sorceress and you had magical abilities. It seemed to me like you were purifying these little black fuzzy, critter-looking things. It had some platforming. Had some platforming things that it was happening through the demo. I don't know. I liked it. I liked the hell out of this. I liked the graphics. I liked those little black tribble looking things were super dope. Robby, what did you think?
Oh my gosh. This was one of those like little, it's like the first time I saw Below during the Xbox conference, just like a game that really just stood out to me personally. I mean, Zach's the one who said it. He was like, Robby, this has you written all over it, because it's a fantasy story, Pixar-like animation, and you have magic abilities and you have enemies and you're going on a massive adventure. There are two games that stood out to me that did specifically that. Like they just look like awesome fantasy adventures, and this was one of them. And like I can't wait. Like this is definitely a game that I'm going to get immediately when it comes out. The sad part is that I believe that this, just you can tell, to me at least, it looks like it's going to be one of those like maybe $30 games that are just like, maybe 8 to 12 hour experiences. But with that said, like I think it looks awesome. It looks really cool to me. Because anything, if y'all don't know me well enough to know yet, anything fantasy related, I'm gonna at least have an eye at, because I just love that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely, this was my girlfriend's game of the show, or game of the show. Like any other game, like she was hyped for. Like I've mentioned it a couple times before. She had some games where she wanted to play those games, but this is the one that she was like, this is the one that I want to sit down and actually sink my teeth into. Like Justin, what did you think? Is this up your alley?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that I would check out, especially like, and I get that. I'm totally fine if it's like a $30 like just whatever like 10-12 hour like experience, but it looked really cute and stuff, and I like the art style of it. Like it obviously has like there's going to be like a bunch of those little characters like you're going to go on Twitter like when the game comes out, and there's going to be a lot of fan art and stuff of these like little characters and stuff. So it looks like there was a lot of love put into the game and a lot of thought into the design and stuff. So, I hope it does really well.
Good. Well, all right. So after this, I think how is it pronounced? Kenna.
Kenna.
All right. So after Kenna, we had another weird fever dream of a game called Goodbye Volcano High. So this was it was like a fantasy creature, hand-drawn art style, emotional game set in an end of era, like dinosaurs, like they're kind of like emo teenagers and they're going to school and doing everything. It's coming out in 2021. What did you guys think? It's got an indie style soundtrack and like
Didn't care.
Yeah.
Shannon looks utterly confused by it. Like he doesn't know what he's even talking about.
No, like seriously, like it looked like a fever dream. Like I did not care for this any way, shape, or form. Like I didn't care for the music. I didn't understand what the game was about. I didn't see any type of mechanics in there that I cared to discover more of. Like I had zero interest in this game whatsoever. Like Robby, what did you think?
I didn't care.
What was it? Like what was it that checked you out? Was it just everything? Like I mean, was it, pretty much just like the minute you saw that magenta red color cartoon title screen come up, you're just like, I'm done.
Yeah, you know how I said earlier, like there are sometimes like there are games that I usually would just like kind of brush off and ignore, but now I have a son, so I'll consider looking at some of playing those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not here. I didn't think that at all here. I was like, I've noticed. I'm gonna, like, I think I actually, because I was streaming on my phone. I was like, I'm gonna look up some college football stats while this is on. Like, I just didn't care.
Awesome. That's great.
So I'm sorry, I'm back. What are we talking about? Which one?
We're talking about
Goodbye Volcano
High. The stupid game.
Oh yes. That didn't have the strongest showing.
That's a polite way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, that looked very much like a game that's going to end with two people or two characters, dinosaurs, whatever the hell you want to call them, coming to grips with, some sort of societal thing as they sit on a mountain and watch a meteor in the sky that's about to crush them all. And it was fully the credits roll as sad music plays or something, like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not rushing out to get that one.
So it's like wild. So it's like watching it. Like I honestly like I dug the art style that they were going for, and I saw that they were. It seems like they're trying to go for that same kind of Night in the Woods kind of feeling with it, but with like more like instead of being focused kind of around like it looks like there's more characters involved and maybe has like a kind of like dating like slice of life kind of stuff to it. But dude, this game got mad hate on Twitter as soon as this trailer, dude. I mean, people were just hounding like the creators, posted stuff, and I was just going through the comments, man. And it's like there's like, okay, this isn't the game for me hate, but then there was people that were just like nobody's gonna play this. You wasted your time. Your game sucks. Like that level of like the I'm blocking people on Twitter like borderline death threat, like level of like people just did not seem to like, and they were like, I don't know why we're getting so much hate for this. Like, I don't know if it's like the furry art style or like what, but people did not like it online.
I mean, maybe that says they're doing something right. You know, like it got a reaction, good
That
or
is
bad.
true.
People reacted. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it got a hell of a lot more of a reaction than Returnal. I'll tell you that. You know,
Worst name ever.
now, can we move on and talk for a second about Zack Snyder's Oddworld Soulstorm? Because I don't remember Oddworld being that dark and bleak, you guys. Like, that was a very serious trailer with pretty intense for Oddworld.
Dude, this was another surprising one for like as soon as I saw Oddworld and I saw Abe, I was like, dude, I haven't seen an Oddworld game in a fat minute. Like that was a surprise turn to me.
And the fact that it was like OG Oddworld style, you know, kind of that 2D side scrolling, it almost looked a little Lemmings-ish, like you're leading a bunch of people around. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to know more. I like the old Oddworld games, but that seemed really dark. It seemed really dark for an Oddworld game. I don't know if you guys have thoughts, but that was the thing that mainly jumped out to me.
No, I mean that the trailer in itself like went places, and you know, I mean, like the person, I mean, like he's sitting there, like, you know, cutting his, you know, the stitches out of his mouth. I was just like, is this a Resident Evil game that we're watching, or like what's going on here? Like, but you know, when they started showing the gameplay and they were like kind of showing that 2D level with, you know, other, you know, like you were describing, like the Lemmings base, like you had like a whole bunch of people following you and they're getting wiped out by like, you're getting squished by machines or blown up by lasers. I was just like, okay, it's interesting. Graphically, it looks good, but I don't know if this is something that I'm going to be interested in personally. So, you know, I'll probably pay attention to it as it gets closer to, you know, release, but I don't think right now it's something I'm going to be playing. Robby, what do you think?
Cool.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Okay.
I don't have an affinity for those games. Sure. Give me more, I guess.
So I'm gonna kind of make an executive decision here because we've been talking for an hour and we are like halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot to go, and I kind of feel like the next three don't really move the needle much, which are Ghostwire Tokyo, Jet the Far Shore, and Godfall. I feel we'll just group these three together, and if you got something to say about any of them, let me know.
Just Godfall looks cool.
Godfall looks cool, but it also kind of stuck out like a sore thumb a little bit. You know, it looked a little like generic. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because it's the only game that we've seen already for like 2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't show us anything new that we hadn't already seen or glimpses of. It really is just starting to look like it is Destiny like, but it's with godlike powers as far as like, and it seems more melee focused as opposed to, you know, guns and bullet sponge enemies. But from what I read, they're really going to lean into like mythos as far as lore of like Greek, Norse, and Egyptian mythology. And if they're going to do that, like that alone, Zach, is going to pique my interest. So, but I don't have anything else to say about the other games. So
again, that was Godfall that we were talking about. The only thing I would say out there, Jet the Far Shore, I mean, it was kind of a generic ass trailer, but it's made by the Sword and Sorcery people. So that alone is going to make me interested in that game just because they make cool shit. But
that game had like, it struck me as another No Man's Sky, but prettier. And that scared me. That was enough to scare me away from being interested in that game.
And then like Ghostwire Tokyo, sure. I don't know, like schoolgirls with no heads and you rip their tech hearts out or something. I don't know. Like the hell even was happening in there.
That was one of the most Kojima, not Kojima games I had seen in a long time, and the graphics did not do that game any justice. It looked rough.
It had some Suda vibes. There were some Suda 51 vibes in there, you know.
Dude, and see, that's what kind of got me was initially when they showed the Tokyo Ghostwire trailer and stuff, it was like, okay, but I wasn't like about it. But this time when they showed it, I had those like Killer 7 kind of vibes and stuff with it, and I was like, all right, like I was like, this trailer made me more interested in it than I had previously been up until this point.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, anyone else have anything to add? Because I'm gonna group the next 3 together too, which were Solar Ash, which was from people that made Hyper Light Drifter, Hitman 3, and Astro's Playroom. Solar Ash kind of had a Gravity Rush type vibe to it, and that's all I really could discern. Again, my daughter's losing her mind, so hey, you guys take it away.
It's made by the guys who make Hyper Light Drifter. It looks like Hyper Light Drifter. Like,
yeah, I wasn't impressed with it. I mean, it was a creative art style, but I don't think there was enough there to create enough hype for the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Justin, did you have anything you wanted to
add? So for me, what I thought was interesting, so Astro's Playroom, like, I still want to play. I heard nothing but good things about the Astro game, the VR one and stuff, and I've gotten nothing but praise from people that have played it from what I've heard. And it's like, I'm interested in this because the other one was strictly VR, but this one, it doesn't look like it's VR because they haven't even said whether or not PlayStation VR is even like going to be a thing on PlayStation 5, so I'm kind of interested if they ditched the VR aspect of it or if that's going to be returning in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had picked up after the show that apparently Astro's Playroom is going to be a pack-in on the system, and it's really supposed to be a thing to highlight the controller and how and like features on the controller and stuff. But it'd be sweet if they had a little Big Planet-ishness to it where people could make things and post it, and it's just like a client that runs. Yeah. Like that would be sweet. And then Hitman 3 just kind of looks like Fast and Furious Hitman to me.
Yeah, it just looks like another Hitman, which that's not necessarily a bad thing because since they've restarted this, like that first Hitman game, I was addicted to. Like it was so much fun. It was a puzzle game, but with assassinating people. I do want to take, before we go and bunch the next couple of games together, because I know we're going to, I want to say the Little Devil Inside was probably my biggest surprise of show.
Well, Little Devil Inside was going to be, I was going to take some time with that one because I'm with you. I'm right there with you. That went from what the heck is this even to I got to play this by the time that was done.
It looks like I want to know more. Who is the old man? Who, why is this guy going on these adventures? Is it what I think it is? Which is because if it's all like you're hunting for monsters and it's giant boss battles and it's like it's Dark Souls-esque, which I'm tired of using that term, but I don't know. It just looked really dope. It looked cool. If it has a story attached to it, like I'm so down, but I just want to know who that old man is and why is he taking a bath? Like, why do I have to see him take a bath?
Why do you have to see him take a shit?
Yeah.
Because you want to, Shannon.
I don't want to. But
wait, yeah, can we go back? Can we go back to him taking a bath? Can we just? I don't need to see him dropping deuces. Like.
But I mean, did y'all guys like that at all, or is it just Zach and I?
No, I'm in on it. I think I'm more in like Zach's camp, where in the beginning I was like, this game, like art style wise, is intriguing, but it doesn't look like a game that's gonna hold my attention. And then by the end, when he was like running away and like shooting things, and like there were huge boss battles, I was like, Okay, I'm in on this one. So it was able to change my mind, and I think that's a sign of a good demo. So I'm in on it. Justin, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, the where the sun is like hitting your eye, you look very much like Kratos with like a giant scar running down your face. I mean, I'm also interested in the game, but it's like I'm also very distracted by. I'm like, damn, Shannon kind of looks like Kratos.
I can't get it out of my eye, dude. Like the shutters. It's just how the shutters are. I'm sorry. I don't know what it's like. Can we just skip over NBA 2K21, please? Because that was a joke.
That looked really sweaty, super sweaty.
He had sweat running down his leg. I thought he peed his pants. I was like, what's going on?
It looks pretty.
It was a great like 20-second teaser trailer, but didn't show any gameplay.
It's going to be another sports game that comes out on console the year of another console release. So there's going to be one on PS4, one on PS5. PS4 will have more stuff available to it, and the PS5 will just look really pretty. That's all. And I'm the sports game player here, and I have nothing to add to it.
Okay,
dude, I want to say on the next game though, I immediately thought of Zach's kid. Like as soon as I saw this, I was like, dude, he would love this.
100% Viva Pinata vibes from Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks. What you know about some Bug Snacks?
I don't know. I was like straight up like, what is this game? Like I saw it was made by the people who made Octodad, and the only thing I've ever heard about that game is the controls are like super crazy. And then when I saw in this one the person eat the strawberry and then their hand turned into a nubby strawberry, I was like, okay, well, what do you do now that your hand is a strawberry? Like, what's the next level here? Like, what is your goal on this island? Is it just basically to like go around and eat like certain things? Like, are you doing something for your village? There's that teaser at the end where like the camera's set up and it's kind of like at nighttime. It's like one of those nature vids and you see like this conglomerate of food come running at you, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's an interesting concept and idea, but I don't know what the gameplay is going to be about. So I'm still kind of holding off on this one.
Yeah,
I was highly confused. I don't know what the heck this game is, but it looked charming as hell. It really did. And if it has any sort of hook to it, this is a game, like Justin's absolutely right. My kid will be 100% all in on. All in. Yeah, I can see it already. He'll be like having it all mapped out about like, I ate french fries and got french fry arms. It's great,
Yeah, I got very like Viva Pinata meets like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 vibes from it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a kid's game, but it definitely seems like it's going to be a lot harder than that. Like, Robby, is this one of those games that you're going to buy to play with Elijah when he gets older?
I don't know. For some reason, I don't remember this game. Oh, no, never mind. No. This all I had to see was the description of Octodad. Yeah, I remember this game. No, I'm not playing this game. This is freaking weird. It's freaking dumb. I don't want to play this. I don't play this.
But it's like that's what made like Octodad so charming though, was it was like the premise of this octopus pretending to be a person. Like that's the whole thing, is he's like trying to blend in as a normal person, but he is very obviously a orange octopus in a suit climbing around everywhere with this dude trying to kill him.
But I mean, who amongst us hasn't felt like an octopus in a suit from time to time? It happens.
Sure.
But let's talk real quick about a game that I'm honestly shocked I was so surprised on. That Demon Souls remake looks freaking amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes. Dude. Yep. Dude, it's going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard.
I saw side-by-side comparisons from PS3 to like now with certain shots, and I was like, dude, they did such a good job.
I have never gone from sheer excitement and joy to disappointment and depression in like the span of this demo. Like like I was so excited. I saw the dragon, I saw the knight, I saw like that hellscape like warrior, like flaming skull dudes, and I was just like, yes, what game is this? Like, and then as I started to see more of it, I was like, please don't be a Demon Souls or Dark Souls game, please. And then like Demon Souls came up, and I mean, like I was standing in an alleyway watching this, and I just went like really loud.
You're standing in an
like,
alleyway. Were you selling drugs?
Like,
what
Shannon's
were you
like
doing
buying drugs, like watching it on his phone. He's like at knife point, like getting his phone taken from him. Like,
no, Shannon, are you a nice drug dealer? Or do you like walk up to some kids and you're like, hey, you want some crack? Like, do you just?
No, I'm a motivational like dealer. Like I'm the drug dealer of encouragement. So like you just kind of like walk by and I'm like, hey kid, like some cool shoes you're wearing. Like you rock that today. You go do that.
Awesome.
Here's some crack. Yeah.
Now let's just call it what it is. Shannon is investing in the local economy. Like that's
sowing them oats.
Yeah. I'm out there on one corner selling bricks, and on the other side, I'm like with the glazers, like teaching people how to like repair windows and do all that stuff.
It's good times.
It looked great.
But no, this game looked freaking still. It went from I don't really remember Demon Souls being one of my favorite games. I'm probably going to skip a remake of this too. Yeah, I'm probably going to buy that. I got to see what this looks like. And it looks freaking nuts. But then from there, we move on to Deathloop, which is an Arcane Studios joint. Kind of like Looper the game, I guess. Everyone's a whole bunch of assassins stuck in a city. And you kill each other all day, and then do it again the next day. And it seems like you're trying to figure a way out. And you get lots of guns and shoot people real good. That seems to be the whole game. Anyone in on that one, or?
I don't know. It kind of struck me like I got really strong like BioShock vibes from it when I was watching it being played. But I don't know. It kind of almost feels like it's going to be a We Happy Few type scenario where like you're going to be excited about it and then it's just not going to be what you want. It seemed a little fast paced and chaotic. And I was behind it. I just don't know if if that pace keeps up, I don't know if that's going to be a game I'm going to enjoy for a long period of time.
I think I'm with you. There needs to be more to it than just that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have a love-hate relationship with Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
I love the concept of their games, but I don't enjoy their games.
Not a big Dishonored person?
No, like that first Dishonored game was there were some really cool moments. I remember playing it all the way through, but I just didn't care about the story at all. And then the second one kind of felt the same, but I didn't even finish it. But
man, the machines ran off whale oil, homie. Come on.
I don't know. I don't know. This was a game that looked cool that I'll probably enjoy listening to people talk about it, but I don't know if I'll play it.
Justin, what are your thoughts on Deathloop?
I definitely went because I do really like the first Dishonored game. I did play the crap out of it. I never played the second one, but I did play the first one and really enjoyed it. So just the fact that it's Arcane Studios, doing it, it definitely has my interest. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's pretty much going to be dependent on how well for me like it reviews, I guess, and stuff, depending on. Like if it is like something more or if it's just kind of like the same kind of gameplay loop over and over again.
Yeah, that's what Michael Bonovich on our Facebook group said about this one too. He pointed this one out and basically said it was an interesting concept, but he's not sure how you make a Groundhog Day game fun. But it could work if it's done right. Okay, I'm in. We got Bill Murray. I'm done. Sold. And then
let's go.
Right?
Let's go.
And then from there is a trailer. Everyone should watch the 4K posted after the show version because, like Justin said earlier, Resident Evil Village, the trailer they showed in the stream was super choppy and wasn't that great, and I think it was just bad ends on their end. But damn you guys, I'm ready for some more Resident Evil. First person perspective is back. Looks like it almost looks like a Resident Evil 4 kind of setting with a village around a castle.
I thought it was the remake. I really did for a second there.
I did too. Yeah. And then you've got werewolves now and other monsters. Like, let's go. Like, give me this. Let's go. I'm ready. Like, give me some.
And then
Resident
Chris
Evil,
Redfield is at the end. Oh
yeah, dude, when Chris came in, I like literally screamed. I was working. I was like, "Oh my god!" And he like shot that dude in the face or whatever. I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. You're like, I am in. We're doing it. And I like. It's so cheesy. It's so dumb, but I love the village and the 8 being part of the village name. Like, it's one of those. I'm looking at it going, "Damn, that's lame," but loving it so hard at the same time.
It's just clever. Like, I think there's a cleverness to it.
Yeah, I think the Resident Evil series now is basically let's get the title first and then work backwards from the title to do the theme of the game.
I mean, there's only so much you could do with VII. You know, it's like, come on. But I'm assuming this is a game you're gonna watch from afar and never play, Shannon.
Yes.
Pansy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then, keeping our theme of the show of post-apocalyptic space games, new Capcom game, Pragmata, which I think is how you say that? Pragmata, maybe? I heard a podcast after this that described this trailer as essentially the best parody of every trailer shown before it. and I thought that was really sound. It's like guys in spaceships and they're throwing stuff and there's cars and like you're on a moon for some reason. It's like, yeah, just all right, sure. I have nothing really to add about this game.
Capcom used all the proceeds from Resident Evil 2 remake to put this game in development because no one, I cannot imagine one single person saying that sounds like an awesome idea. Let's run with that. Because it honestly, it gave me BioShock vibes in the sense of a big daddy and a little sister. Like,
I
get.
Yeah, I had a really hard time figuring out what was going on. Like, you know, I saw this dude like walking down the street and kind of looked like a spacesuit, kind of looked like a suit from Destiny, maybe something from like Anthem. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like maybe they redid Anthem and like, you know, this is going to be like a new thing. And then, you know, he like whoever it is in the spacesuit kind of throws out this like little grenade that like drops spores or whatever. And then there's like a cat that shows up and then there's this chick that's there. And I'm like, okay, where did she come from? Is she part of the hologram? And then like out of nowhere, like the glass dome breaks and the satellite comes rocketing through. And I'm like, what is going on? Like what? Like what? Seriously? And then they're up on the moon. I was like, oh wow, this is crazy.
And like, why?
Yeah,
why the moon? Like, you know, it was just like, okay, sure, I guess.
Yeah. And then like, you know, you would turn around with like the damage that you see in the like the trailer. You would turn around and when they're looking at the planet Earth, you would expect to see maybe like half of it missing. And being like, okay, some shit went down. But then, like, you just look at Earth, and it looks like regular Earth. And she's like, well, where do we go from here? And he's like, home. And I'm like, oh, what the hell are we doing? Where? Like, where is home? Like, what is going on here? Like, why are you the only astronaut on Earth? Like, I just don't get it. So, yeah, it was nuts. I'm so confused. But it looked pretty. I mean, that's all I can say.
And it's also one of those, I'm willing to give Capcom a bit of a leash. Like, Capcom has been on a streak, you guys. Like, Capcom has done some big things. And I'm willing, if this was what they want to push their chips onto the table in, I'm willing to listen. Like, before I just write it off, I'm willing to give it a chance.
I was going to say, Zach, you know, you watched The Last Dance. Streaks come to an end. You know,
They do. They do. But, you know, they also let me hit guys with a Hell motorcycle that split apart. And I'm willing to let them do things for that. Justin, any last thoughts on Pragmata before we move on?
No, I think pretty much everything that needed to be said was said about it.
All right. And the last game they showed, they saved the heavy hitter for the end of the show, which was the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, which is Horizon Forbidden West. And it was a trailer with Aloy narrating over, talking about, are showing her kind of travel this landscape, which is very obviously San Francisco. There's the Golden Gate Bridge in the background and things of that nature. And what I thought was interesting is it showed like real ass animals. There were pelicans and fish and like things like that. But then also, and a fox, and there appeared to be a plague of some sort that was taking all them down. I'm not sure if the red plants were part of the plague or if they were infected plants. I don't really know what's going on. But there are big ass snapping turtles, apparently, robot snapping turtles. There's like Oliphants straight out of Lord of the Rings, but mech ones. Just sign me up. I'm good. Like there appears to be an underwater level, which yeah, please don't suck is all I'm gonna say about that. And
how do you attack those like alligator dinosaur looking like huge things underwater with, you need to have some type of assistance there. I'm just glad that it looks like they're giving her some type of breathing apparatus so you don't have to worry about your oxygen levels when you're underwater.
Totally. You don't have the sonic dun 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 music. Yeah.
But like seriously, how are you going to fight those things underwater? Like it's going to be a hard thing to do right.
All I know is when those swam across the screen, I was like, my son is going to lose his damn mind.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's no secret if you've listened to me for a while, Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my absolute favorite games from this entire generation. I could not be more excited for a sequel. It looks like more of the same, which I am so on board with. The only thing I will say is the story of Horizon Zero Dawn was the thing that really pulled me through, because that game gets a little long. It slows down in some pieces. And the story, though, is what pulls you through those parts. So I'm hoping the narrative in this game is up to par. Is it or better? I'll take better. I'm not, hey, I'm not picky. But I would appreciate it just keeping a real strong narrative, because I do love that character and I love the world that they've built out. And I just more of that. I'm ready. Let's go. Justin, thoughts?
No, it's gonna definitely be, I would be surprised if it wasn't a day one purchase for anyone not on the podcast and stuff. I know I bought the first Horizon Zero Dawn day one, and I know I'll end up getting this one like right when it comes out.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because sorry, by the way, guys, Robby had to duck out. His son woke up and was right in hell, and he didn't have the luxury I do of having someone else there to manage him. So here we are. But this was Robby's game of the conference. Like he was super on board. I'm bummed he couldn't talk about it, but he'll fill us in next week, hopefully, with his thoughts. So now that we've gone through the games, what is your game of the conference? What's the one that really jumped at you and you're like, yep, done, sold?
Shannon?
Either one of you guys.
I think you should take Halo or Horizon out of it, just because.
Well, definitely take Halo out.
Yeah, but take Horizon out of it, just because. I think everybody's gonna say that.
What's your non-Horizon game of the conference?
I think it would either be like Ratchet and Clank or that Kana one. Like that one, both of those I think really got me going. So I would say those two were up there. Justin, how about you?
Mine's close, but I was like, I gotta say Demon Souls, even though it's a remake. But I was like, if it wasn't, but I was like, Resident Evil Village was a close second though, because I was extremely hype as soon as I realized what was going on and that it was Resident Evil.
Sure. And as easy as it would be for me to say goodbye Volcano High, I'm gonna say for me, the game I was most hyped about was Ratchet and Clank, and then a short following up close behind that is the Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Like that game just ticked all the boxes for me. It had that Studio Ghibli thing and just had the animation. It looked freaking amazing. I was like, I really want to know more of that. Give me that game. So, but goes to show you we all kind of have varying answers on that. So I like that.
Yeah. Now you're forgetting at the end of this conference, after they showed all the games, they showed us the beautiful system in all of its glory. What did you guys think?
Well, you obviously think it's beautiful.
I think it's amazing. I think it's sexy bitch.
Okay, wait. I think it's amazing. I think that is true. I do think it's amazing. I don't know if I like it. I like the balls they have to just throw them on the table and be like, hell yeah, look at the pop collar on this motherfucker. We're doing the damn thing. It's bold. I will say that. It's bold. It's not just a square box, which I do appreciate. I do appreciate that. I don't know if I like it though, because also it looks huge. Like when you put the controller next to it, like that's a big console.
Yeah,
so
like what? I mean, 3 controllers tall, I think, is roughly what it looks like. So maybe 13 inches, 12 inches, 13 inches.
Yeah, it looked. I mean, when I've seen comparisons, it looks like maybe 3 inches taller than a PS4 Pro, and that's pretty sizable. So I don't know. Justin, your thoughts?
Like, it is definitely an interesting design, and it's one of those things where I'm like, it looks cool. Like, I just wish, like, I like the fact that, I guess they're switching it up by making it white, but I'm like, white gets so dirty in my, like, house. Like, it's gonna get fingerprints, it's gonna get dog hair all over it. But I did appreciate all the memes were great. Like every meme about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that made it like the Seto Kaiba, and it's like his collar on it, and
totally.
The it's sitting on a table with the Xbox being like this middle of the table and stuff was beautiful, and Xbox is the mini fridge in the kitchen. Like
or like the Xbox as Wally and Eva as the that's a good one too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I here's another question: are you guys going to go all digital, or are you going to actually get the one with the disc drive in it?
Okay, so that's another thing they said is there's a disc and a discless version. I probably, this is funny to say, but part of me wants to get the disc because, I don't buy a lot of physical games, but I've been known to pick up some like bargain basement Target, Walmart, $14.99 games that they're throwing in the bin. That'll never happen if you're doing the digital version. So,
I mean, maybe. Just from a financial perspective, I mean, like, there are those games that are going to go down from like $65 to like $15 if you get the physical version, and they're never going to do that on the PlayStation Store. Maybe like, maybe during like a summer of play event or something like that. But I think they're going to be a lot more frequent if you can buy a physical version. Also, I don't know like what their what the external hard drive situation is going to look like for solid state drives for these things. So going all digital, I don't know if it's beneficial just yet. That's the other thing too, is like who's buying. I mean, is there still a huge market for 4K DVDs, like Blu-ray DVDs? Like,
I can't imagine so anymore. I mean, sure, there's physical people. Like, there's people that want that physical disc, and I get it. I'm just not one of them. But I can't imagine there's a lot of them. Like, the people are, I mean, Blu-rays and stuff aren't expensive anymore. For a reason. It's not because they're they're selling so much of them, they're cheap now. Like that's not how that works. The thing I do hate is how the disc version isn't symmetrical. I do hate that. Like, and I'm petty enough that might drive me to the all digital, because just having that, like, the beer belly on it with the disc is going to drive me crazy. Like, and I know me, and I'm weird enough that would be the case.
Yeah, I think it was pretty funny. I was listening to the CADcast, and like Shipwreck was saying that they should put another drive on another disc drive on the other side to balance it out. You could just have like two games in there at the same time. Yeah, that was
or
pretty...
just make the swell the same on both systems. The digital stuff, just make the swell the same, and that's where you store your external hard drive or something on the other side. Like, it looks literally like a week ago someone was like, "Oh shit, I forgot to put a space for this disc." Like, slap. There we go.
Yeah, I like there was the one meme. Oh, it was just, I saw the one meme where it was like how to tell if your PlayStation 5's pregnant, and then it was like the 9 weeks, and then it was like 3 months, and then it just kept being bigger, and it was like 6 months, and it's like all the way out to the side, like an L looking thing.
Yeah, it's a weird choice. That's all.
Yeah, it looked like they started by like ripping off Alienware, like with the design of it. And then at the end they were like, well, where do we put this hard drive? And then it kind of came close to like crunch time, and like their project was due, and they just kind of slapped it on the side there, and they were just like, yeah, it's good. It still looks good to me. Like, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't like the white. I got sweaty hands, sweaty palms, and that thing is gonna look grody after like a month of me playing any PlayStation game.
I know this is a hot take, Shannon. This is weird, but just bear with me for a second. Maybe clean your shit. Like, maybe just clean it. I know. Hey, I get it. It's weird. I'm just thinking trying to go out of the box.
I'm just glad I'm just gonna tell you right now, give it like a year or two, and that PlayStation 5 controller is gonna be black again. So I got it fixed.
Gross. So gross.
Can we talk about peripherals too? Because I saw some does anybody want a camera for your PlayStation 5? Like,
I gotta imagine that's for the unannounced VR, right? I mean, that kind of has to be, right?
Or maybe they're coming out with their own like Mixer Twitch rival stream.
Sure. Like, okay, yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of. What do you think the price is?
Well, I mean, for Justin to buy that camera and put his junk on PS5 Uno, it's priceless, really. But
you're not wrong. I was like, that alone makes it a day one purchase. I'm like, yeah, I got some iToy candy right here. You know what I'm saying?
Can you tell Robby left the show? So price for so we're talking digital system or disc system?
Let's do both.
I think your all digital system is $599, and I think your disc system is $649. That's what I think.
Do you think that's too steep? Would you still buy a physical with the one with the disc drive? Would you still buy that at $649?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, as much as I would love to say hell yes, there's a damn depression going on, and there's some real world shit that might not make that possible. But let's roll that back $100 and say $499 and $549. That's a lot more palatable for me at that level. But even still, I'd really have to sort some things out before I'm like pre-order, not even thinking about it. Hell yeah, let's do it. What about you guys? Well, first off, what's your price guess? What's your price guess first off?
See, I don't know because they say they learned their lessons from the PlayStation 3 era, and I mean PlayStation 3, I want to say was like $600.
Yeah,
for
that was $599. Yeah.
So if they're learning their lesson, I mean that tells me that they're going to come in under that. So I would probably say 549. I would say would be the starting for the disc, the one with the disc drive, and then it would probably be like 500 for the all digital version. But I mean, gosh, it's only coming with one controller. No, and then you got to buy a game to go along with it, unless they're really going to try to push that Astrobot bullshit. But I mean, they got to make it palatable, so you buy a game to go with it, right? Unless they're hoping you're just going to use the backwards compatibility to play some of your games until you save up enough money to get one of the new games. So I'm going to say 549 because that'll give you like about $100 of extra cash to kind of go around. Justin, what do you think?
But you do think the price difference between disc and not disc is $50? Because that's what I think.
I would say so. I mean, Blu-ray disc drives can't be that expensive. I mean,
right?
I would say $50 is reasonable.
See, I mean, that's close to my guess is for the discless one, it would be 500, and then my guess for the disc one would be 6.
You go full $100?
Yeah, I think it would just be full. I mean, I could totally I could see it being $50, but to me it's like I can't think of a single console where the price was like it wasn't like a full like rounded number like that, like $299,
sure.
For like so I've never seen it before with $50. I mean they could change that, but I think if they're gonna do something, they're gonna just round it up to whatever.
I'm kind of that makes sense, but I feel like if they do that, the move would be more like what Shannon was saying, and maybe $399 and $499 at that point. But just you look at the pieces that are in the box, and I just don't know how they make it that cheap. Unless they're willing to just eat some and to get it out there. I think I'm kind of with you guys. Like $499 seems the price like it might kind of has to be. As at the base, at the very bottom. So we will find out. And then Uno junk cameras are another probably $80. And second controller is probably
4K.
$80. Yeah, 4K junk camera.
Makes your junk look larger. It's got a fisheye lens on it.
I mean, and at that point, can you really put a price on that, Shannon? Like,
yeah.
I've been using it for years. I can't. So I don't know what to tell you.
It adds the filters itself this time, though.
Yeah,
so.
You get the like Snapchat dancing hot dog on top of your schlong. You know what I'm saying?
Oh damn!
Let you record your own Overwatch celebrations. It's great. Look at this play of the match.
So PlayStation's gone first. Mm-hmm. Microsoft is supposedly going like in July or August.
July is the next. Their first party thing. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think they're shaking in their boots right now? Do you think they're like already waving the white flag and being like, "Oh, okay, how do we come up with a presentation because we don't have shit for games? Like, how do we sell this box?"
I honestly would be surprised if they have quote unquote shit for games. Like I know they've been touting Halo, but I think that's just the thing everyone knows they have is Halo and Hellblade 2. They fucking better have stuff in the hopper because if they roll out in July and are like, here's Halo, okay, see you guys in August, the whole internet's gonna burn down. Like it's one of those things. But they didn't acquire 7 studios over the last generation and to make nothing, right? All those places have to be making something. The big rumor I've loved this week is Warner Brother is putting Warner Brother Interactive up for sale, and they're asking about $4 billion for it with the B, And man, you want to find a way to make Batman exclusive for the Xbox? That's a way to do it. That'd be a quick way to bring a whole bunch of really cool exclusive shit to the Xbox. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Like that'd be interesting. But yeah, I think they better be prepping some heat. And I also think price is a way that Microsoft could try to get an advantage, because they are in a much better position to eat cost than Sony is. Yeah.
So how long do you think Sony and Microsoft keep their price close to the vest?
Play this game of chicken?
Yeah.
Like, no, you first. My guess is you got to get pre-orders up probably in August. I think if August 1st hits and we don't have prices, I'm getting real nervous at that point. But I'm guessing sometime late July is when we'll finally get the price out of these bastards. But,
who do you think's going to go first with price?
I don't know.
Microsoft. I think Microsoft has to.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I think
Sony's giving it up.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft goes first if they know they've got the goods. Like if they've crunched all the numbers and their team's like, there is no effing way Sony's going under $399 without taking a full bath on these consoles. So we're releasing them even though we are going to take a bath. Xbox Series X 350. Boom, let's do it. They know there's going to be no way Sony's going to go lower than that without shooting themselves in the feet. Then, all right, great, go. But I think Microsoft comes out if they know they got that heat. If Microsoft's sitting there like, fuck, we got to release these things at $500, it'll be a while. It's gonna be a while.
Dude, I was like, what Sony really needs to do is just put a post-credit scene at the end of Last of Us 2 where it reveals the price. It's like on a billboard in the background. Like, get people to buy.
No, it's a unique URL to that license to pre-order a PS5.
Yeah. You click on it and it's like log into your Bethesda account.
Yep. That's how you order a PS5. It's a unique thing from the credits of The Last of Us 2. You imagine people would be freaking losing their minds right now. Now I'm mad they didn't do it. Like, damn.
There's still enough time to patch it in.
Right. Well, we have kind of done a hell of a show on just the PS5 stuff. Do you guys want to talk any other games, or should we just kind of wrap it for the week? What are you guys feeling?
I want to wrap it for the week.
All right. You can do that?
I want Shannon to read the 2 games that I wrote down that I said that he played.
To be fair, I would totally play one of them.
Okay, so let's see what they are tonight. Five Nights at Uncle Terry's. Scary one. And Sid Meier's Civilization 7, the COVID edition.
I would play the hell out of that. Like,
I would too.
I mean, give me Sid Meier's Plague Inc. Like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. I'm all about it.
Thank you,
well,
Justin.
Okay. I guess it would be our wrap up. Thank you for hanging in there with us, you guys, for our PS5 Spectacular. It was good to have Robby back on this week, and I will toss it to Mr. Shannon Moore for the outro. Shannon!
Well, as always, thank you guys for hanging around and listening to our show, listening to a bunch of middle-aged men talk about video games. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can see Zach just pepper me all day with, weird shenanigans about my, liking to buy games and then letting them sit on the shelf forever, or, thinking a game that has an 82 on Metacritic isn't a good game.
It's also not a good game. It's really pretty. It was a graphical powerhouse when that system launched. Hey, Shannon, verse me on the high plot points of Heavenly Sword. Go ahead.
So she's a chick that's gonna die, and she's got a big ass sword, and it's kind of like God of War, except it's got better graphics.
And it's like 4 hours long. And
No, I would probably say it was like close to 6 to 8.
great.
It all depends on how long you want to stare at her boobs for. But anyway,
also, none of those were plot points. I just want, as long as we're clear, none of the thing you just said was like a piece of the story in any way.
Dude, Shannon's like staring into the 7th dimension, trying to pull something out of the house right now.
Oh yeah, the 1,000-yard stare of Shannon right now is intense. He's like, please, something come to me about this game.
She had red hair.
Wait for the house phone to ring the fucking say.
I want to say this is one of the first. This is one of the first games that they did use motion cap in a video game, though. That's what I want to say. Is probably one of the flagship ones that did mocap for video game.
Say it was the trial game that made Enslaved Journey to the West possible, and that is a way better game. So play that game. It's really good.
All right. So if you liked what you heard here, you can find that on the Facebook group in text form. So yeah, go over there. I'm sure you'll find joy there.
Justin Shannon hates me so much. Look at him. He's so mad at me.
Dude,
he's so mad. It's just a sunburn on my face. I swear to God, it's not anger.
Really, sunburn brings the veins out like that? That's weird.
It does when you're dehydrated. Shut up,
it's all that Kratos sun hitting him in the face.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, so yeah, I've already whatever Facebook group. Justin, is anything coming up for Negative Space in 2020? No. Okay, just roll out. Come on, tell me what does Robby always say, Zach?
Robby would tell you guys, hey guys, and Shannon, be great.
God damn, I hate you guys.
Oh, dude.
I hate you